For better or worse, plot armor is something that always seems to rear its head in most, if not all, fictional stories. From my experience, it was always talked about in a negative light. Curious if people still thought this, I made a poll asking fans if they like plot armor in manga. 0% voted yes, 11% voted no, and 89% voted sometimes. Here's my 2 cents on plot armor and why it can't protect itself from the wrath of fans. As we all know, plot armor is the thing that keeps the protagonist alive for the story to progress. If you take plot armor away, the protagonist is susceptible to dying. This in turn means that the story dies along with them. Take One Piece for example. Luffy's story would have ended after his first encounter with Crocodile. Crocodile beats Luffy in their fight and leaves him for dead. Robin, having a zero personal connection to Luffy, doesn't bother saving him from the quicksand. With Luffy out of the picture, Vivi and the remaining Straw Hats wouldn't be able to defeat Crocodile and stop his plans from destroying Alabasta. So without plot armor, One Piece ends at chapter 179. So plot armor is an essential part to any story. Now plot armor is not limited to only the protagonist. It can also extend to other key characters. Even antagonists might have it depending on the story. What I find interesting is, just because a character has plot armor doesn't equal popularity with fans. Characters like Smoker, Chad, and Sakura haven't exactly won everyone's praise. Instead, characters like Ace, Ukiura, and Jiraiya are beloved by many even after their departure from the story. It all depends on the character and our investment in that character. This could be a hot take, but I believe fans don't have a problem with plot armor. It's actually the execution of the plot armor that tick them off. There's times when obvious plot armor is written in a fun and entertaining way. It's when it doesn't make sense that it feels like a bunch of BS. There's actually a perfect example for both in Food Wars. During the training camp arc, one of the assignments was to serve an egg dish to a minimum of 200 guests. Soma's dish was an egg souffle. It collapses after a while, which doesn't entice guests to try it. To make matters worse, Soma's booth is next to Irina Nakiri and her popular Eggs Benedict. Having only 8 dishes served and 30 minutes left, Soma wows guests with his cooking. He draws them in and barely passes on time. This is 100% plot armor, but it was also 100% fun to read. What wasn't fun to read was Soma versus Mimasaka. Mimasaka was basically a chef with the Sharingan. Studying his opponents, he is able to perfectly copy the dish with a small change to win. We clearly see this in action when he faces off against Takumi Aldini. How does Soma beat him? He improvises, which is good. How does he improvise? Soma just adds more meat to his dish. Soma's beef stew felt like an Arby's commercial because it had all the meats. So with these examples, I can understand why most people voted sometimes. So what are your thoughts on plot armor? Do you think stories can thrive without them? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.